Having the ability to store a single value in a variable can be very limiting to a program. Sometimes I may want to create a variable and allow it to store multiple values. For that, I can use an array. The idea behind an array is that it a reference to a location in memory that holds a number of different values accessed by using their index, and those values each represent an item inside of an array. Here I'm going to go ahead and create a new array of strings that represents the days of the week. This array of strings represents the various days of the week. I access items by index. For example, if I want to get the first item in the array, I can create another variable and use the days of the week array index 0 to retrieve the value from the first spot. The same works for our second and third day. This works all the way up until the end of the array. The last index in the array is actually the size of the array minus 1. So for example, this array holds 5 values, and if I wanted the last day of the week, it would be days of the week. The size of this, which is 5, minus 1 would be 4. Now using index 4 to get at the last item in the array can also be limiting though. If my array happens to hold more than 5 items, then 4 is no longer the last index. I can write an expression here that allows me to calculate the value of the last index and then always retrieve the value of the last item in my array. To get the value of the last index, I use the array that I'm looking at, days of the week, the dot property, and then length is a property on the array. This returns me 5. If I'm looking for the last position, I need to remember that this is the length minus 1. So the way that this expression is read is that I am accessing the days of the week array at the index, which is the length of the array minus 1, or this is the last position 4. Just like I can retrieve the value of an array, I can overwrite the value of an item in an array using its index. For example, now I'm actually saying assign the value Sunday to index 0 for days of the week. I can also create an array of values that are empty to start with. If I create an array of integers, I have to specify how big the array is, but what it will do is inside of each position in the array, it will use that data type's default value. So here, temperatures indexes 0 through 4 will all have a value of 0 until assigned something different. I can put anything I want into this array now that it's created. Using this approach, I now have the ability to create an array where I may not know the values ahead of time that go into the place. The last thing to keep in mind is that whenever we create a new array, we don't need to put the literal integer in the place of the size of the array. We can actually put a variable that is an integer data type right here in this position, allowing us to create any array of any size that is an integer.